Hi, in this video I'm going to show you an update of my giant pumpkin plants, as well as show you how tore apart my hoop houses got during some of the storms. They're kind of mangled up a little bit, but so far they seem to have protected the plants and did their jobs, even though they don't look great. But if you want to see how bad they look, just stay tuned. It is Wednesday, May 14th, and I'm just going to give you a quick update on where the patch is at and where the plants are at. Not a lot has been going on in the patch, just because there's not, in my mind, not a lot to do right now. I mainly just kind of check them, make sure that they're getting enough airflow within the hoop houses. I've actually been leaving them open at night because it's been 80 plus during the days, and I think it's in the 50s at least at night lately. So I've been leaving them open at night. Probably could close them to trap in maybe a little heat, but it's a little extra work, so I've been just leaving them open at night. I will be closing them this weekend because we're supposed to get down to like 39, I think. So I'm gonna have to just kind of keep an eye on them to make sure that things aren't going to get too cold for them. So I will close them up, and if I have to, maybe throw some sheets over the plants. But I did look at pictures from the past 2 years, which were my best years, and I appear to be just slightly ahead of where I was in the past 2 years. So hoping that continues and I get a bigger pumpkin at the end of the year. But right now I'm gonna flip you around. I'll show you the patch quick, and then I'll show you each plant in each hoop house. So here is the patch. As you can see, the spots that I don't have hoop houses that have not been amended, they are growing weeds right now, or grass. I'm not sure. It used to be a grass hayfield, so it could just be a lot of the grass from the hayfield coming back up. But they also haven't been tilled as recently, which makes sense on why they're growing stuff more than the spots that were tilled. So I'll show you this one here. This is the hoop house that has my 2177 Ford and my 1977 Ford. So on the left is the 2177 Ford. This one, if I get you over here, is starting to vine. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it is getting a vine there. And so it should start running soon, I would think. And this is the 1977 Ford. I really don't see much of a vine starting on it yet, but it's just, I think it's just a little bit slower. It was behind when I put them in the ground. But what I mean by run, when I say it should be starting to run soon, is basically the main vine will basically lay down on the ground and then start shooting out about a foot a day of vine growth. So that's what I mean by it's going to start to run soon. So now I'm on the other side from the front. There is the 2177 Ford on the right now, and the 1977 Ford on the left. While we're walking over to the next hoop house, I was just going to mention that I did have the heating cables in these two hoop houses set at 75 degrees. I have since, I think yesterday, increased them to 78 degrees. I figured a little bit warmer was probably a good thing. So I did increase that soil temp, or the heating cables for the soil temp to get a little bit warmer. Okay, so for this hoop house, these are both 1931 Turners. If you can see this one is probably my best plant. I'm not sure if you can see the main vine, but that one is starting to lay down as well, and should hopefully start to run soon. My other 1931 Turner, which was smaller going into the ground, is still smaller. Also, I'm not sure if that just got, you can see that leaf there. I'm not sure if that leaf towards the front there that's drooping, if that one just got sunburned. That's my guess. It's been abnormally hot here lately, and it is on the south, I guess more, it's probably more on the west side. It might get some intense afternoon sun on that side, so that might be all it is. I'm hoping that's it, and it's not something that could spread to the other plant, but I highly doubt that. So these are my two 1931 Turner plants. So here is the front side of the two 1931 Turner plants. You should be able to see the main vine on the one on the right there poking out just a little bit. I do have some skewers or stakes or whatever kind of holding it up just in case that were to drop. I don't want to crack the main vine. So just in case that gets too heavy, I have it so it'll catch it a little bit down. I do want it, it's not holding it up at all, I just don't want it to drop really fast. So there is the front of both the 1931 Turners. So now we're gonna walk around and see the other two plants I have in the hoop house. This is the hoop house that does not have soil heating cables in it. It's just relying on the sun. The other thing I've noticed with this one is on the south side growing north, and I have to keep this hoop house open to allow airflow in and not to get too hot. But one thing I have noticed is that these plants, especially the first true leaf, they just droop, especially the first true leaf, they droop really bad. And if you notice where the sun is hitting those two leaves, or the leaf on each plant. I don't know, I'm not too worried about it. They perk up at night every day, but it is kind of funny that the other ones are growing on the north side, so they don't get hit when I have the hoop houses open. They don't get hit by the sun, like direct sun at all. But with this gap in the hoop house, these two get hit. So on the left is the the left here is a 2190 Bledsoe, and on the right is the 1970.5 Turner. So I really don't know at this point which one I'm gonna go with. That second true leaf still looks pretty funny up on the front right there, but neither of them are near as far along as the two plants that had the heating cables. So we'll see much farther these get behind as the season goes on. So here is the front side of the two plants in the hoop house without the heating cables. On the left is the 1970.5 Turner, and on the right here is the 2190 Bledsoe. So we're walking over to my existing patch that I've grown in the past 4 years. If you can see that A-frame style hoop house, I'm not sure exactly what to call it, but that is where one of my daughters has a giant pumpkin in it for the county fair. I do have, I'm not sure if you can see it real well here, but I do have a watermelon plant in this tunnel. And then I do have a watermelon plant in that tunnel over there. They both are giant watermelons. This tunnel I actually bought for lettuce like 4 years ago. And it was one tunnel, and I didn't want to try to build any more hoop houses, so I dug it out. I had never used it, and I cut it in half. And that's guess what I'm using for now, and it's gonna be what it is. And if a storm takes it out, I guess I don't have giant watermelons. But over here, so here's some of my apple trees, or our apple trees, but this is another patch, the patch I showed in previous videos that we tore up or opened up. And this is one of my other daughter's giant pumpkins for the county fair. They've only been in the hoop houses since Sunday, but actually I'm kind of surprised it's not drooping too bad. I think that's the 1970.5 Turner. But it's not drooping near as bad as I thought it would with the sun we have today and it not being in the ground very long. So hopefully it does well for her. So another thing I wanted to mention is you can see here, this is my Broadfork. I got it last year, and if you watch my previous video from last year, I Broadforked. My wife actually helped me. My wife and I forked my whole patch ahead of the season last year. I don't plan to do it like that this year, mainly just because of time issues, but my current plan is to Broadfork ahead of the plant or plants, just because I don't want to try to take the time and do it all at once. So I will be planning to Broadfork here shortly around the hoop house, and then I'll slowly go out as the plant grows. I guess that's my current plan, so we'll see that changes anything for how they turn out this year. It is Saturday, May 17th, and I'm not sure if you can tell right now, but it is really windy out. We had a stretch of good week plus of like 80-degree days, and it has taken a turn over the past few days. It's been extremely windy. We had, on Thursday, we had tornado warning to the north of us and to the south of us. The one to the north of us did produce a few tornadoes, but the one to the south I think was just radar indicated. But it's been really windy ever since then. So the last 3 days, it's been really windy here. My hoop houses have kind of taken a beating. I'm gonna try to flip you around. Hopefully the noise doesn't get too bad. But if you can see here, it's kind of caved in a little bit. And the pipes aren't, or the PVC pipes or flex pipe, they're doing their job, but they don't look the best, which is fine. But I guarantee you 100% that if I did not put those T-posts in, so if you haven't seen my video where I put up the hoop houses, I have T-posts down the center of my hoop houses. If I didn't have those T-posts in the ground there, my whole structure would have collapsed in these storms. I think we had wind gusts in the 50 mile an hour range, but they would have collapsed. You can maybe see it here, but you can see that red, I can't even point backwards, but you can see right there, that red pool noodle that's on top of the T-post sticking through the plastic. I had multiple instances where the T-post poked through the plastic. I had one of the hoop houses over there. The one end got ripped off, so luckily I was home and I could run out there. And that's on the side of the hoop house where the plant was, so the plastic kind of fell onto the plant there. The side opened up, and I was able to fix that before it did damage. So I'm gonna flip you around and show you a quick update of the plants so you can see. I think the last update I did was on May 14th, so a few days ago. So you can hopefully see a difference in the size of the plants. So this is the 2177 Ford on the left and the 1977 Ford on the right. If you can see here, I'll try to get the camera in there, but there is the main vine tip. She is starting to lay down and will be, if it ever warms up, right now it's in the 50s and gonna be most likely drop down in the 30s here over the next couple nights. But hopefully should start putting on a lot of growth here soon. These are my two 1931 Turner plants. So you can see the one on the left is bigger. It is putting out a main vine out there. And as you can also see, this is the hoop house that's taken the most beating. I think that driveway marker there is actually poking up through the plastic, but even though it does not look the best, it is holding up and it is doing its job. And once this wind dies down and it gets a little nicer out, I'll probably try to fix it and get it a little bit more stable. But at this point, I'm just gonna leave it since it's doing its job. So this is the 2190 Bledsoe on the left and the 1970.5 Turner on the right. If you notice, they are both smaller than the rest of my plants. These are the two without the heating cables. So I am starting to see a big difference in having heating cables this year for the first time. So something I just noticed on this hoop house is it is completely tore up on the top here and over here. So that I might need to take care of a little sooner than later, just because I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but just so it doesn't keep tearing open, because once it starts, it may continue. So that is where this video is going to wrap up. Thank you for following along. Thanks for subscribing. If you have any questions or would like to see something in a future video, just drop a comment down below and I'll get back to you or put it in a future video. Thank you.